Hey, this is Alexa Peterson with the Hitting Vault. I'm going to be doing a swing analysis on Paul Goldschmidt of the Cardinals. He just signed, or is closing in on signing a deal for the next 5 years to stick with the Cardinals, and has done well for them. Last year he hit 33 home runs and hit 290, so doing well. Let's take a look at his swing. Starting stance, it's pretty upright with his torso here, kind of pretty average with his knees, has a decent amount of bend in his knees there. What's interesting is that his barrel is really far down, go down behind there, and you're going to see hitters, elite hitters that have very good body control and are able to start in, what you would consider an unconventional starting stance, because we don't see this position with the barrel very often, but there are hitters that are able to have starting stances a little bit different, and they're able to use that to help them create momentum in their swing or timing, but they're able to control it. And so there's a lot of hitters that will start, a little bit different or unconventional, but it'll actually hinder them. They don't have the body control to be able to get to a good launch position. So we're going to take a look at what he does with his barrel. So he starts with his barrel pretty far angled down. His hands are high. Going to the load. Notice he really brings that all the way from almost probably like probably 60 degree angle down, all the way up to there. So that's a lot of movement that he's able to control as a hitter and works for him with his timing. But know that younger hitters, that might not be a great option. Having a 10, 12-year-olds doing that's a lot of movement that they don't have, and they don't have good body control typically at that age. And as they get older, you'll see hitters be able to have high leg kicks and huge loads and that type of thing, big barrel movements, but that's because they can control that and are strong enough to do so. So you'll notice from his starting position as well, he was very vertical with his torso. He creates a lot of hip hinge when he gets to his launch position. We're going to look at his side angle in just a minute, but I want you to see how far over he is. He's leaned over, and that's important to have some kind of angle here, kind of leaned over. You'll see some variances with how how much torso tilt or hip hinge they have in their launch position, but it's important to not stay vertical, otherwise you won't be able to stay on the plane of the pitch for very long. So good position here. See him rotating his hips, bro working behind him. Hips work really good towards this low pitch. Really has to drop his shoulder, his back shoulder, and keep that tilt throughout his swing in order to not take this, hit this low pitch, which is just below his knee, to not hit it right in the ground. In order to hit this a home run, this angle has to be really steep with his shoulders. He actually finishes afterwards almost with a little bit of a bent knee throughout his swing to really get down there. So let's go to the side view here. So there's his starting stance. Those knee loads. And he's a hitter that is definitely shorter, or the distance is shorter between his feet than most elite hitters, but it's something, again, that works for him. There's no cookie cutter swing for everyone, but what you'll notice is that because he's so narrow, he's actually pretty tall with his legs. That's why he has so much hip hinge in that launch position, because he naturally is just a little bit taller and more narrow. Typically hitters are more vertical if their feet are this narrow. But what he does to kind of compensate is, because he's so narrow, he gets a lot more torso tilt and keeps more tilt throughout the middle part of his swing. And so you'll see, it's a little bit more unconventional, but his hands are actually outside his back foot, or this camera angle is a little bit more from the front, but he's outside his back foot a little bit. And that's helping him still get good separation from his hands and his hips. We want to make sure that you have good stretch, and that's how he's able to hit for power, is because he has that stretch. what we typically see are hitters that will overextend and their hands will get way out here. And even with Goldie here, because he's so narrow, it makes sense to have his hands a little bit further back. If you have a kid that's maybe striding normal distance, maybe 50 or 60% of their height, and their hands are outside their back foot, that's typically a recipe for disaster because they're going to be arm barring, they're not going to be able to adjust different pitches. But that is why you see his hands outside his back foot, because he's so narrow. And it's something that works for him. He's been able to be successful with this, so why change it, right? So in that launch position, right, when that heel hits, right there, you still see his front shoulder slightly down, his back shoulder up. His knob is a little bit more vertical, not quite as much towards the catcher, but again, that's something that works for him. And then, like we talked about, he's a little bit taller with his legs, but you can really see he's leaned over, has good torso tilts to compensate how tall he is with his legs here. Now, from there, his body, his kinetic chain, how his body moves, is exactly the same that we see amongst all elite hitters. We see those hips turning really hard, rotating here with the core. His back foot is starting to come off the ground. He's not squishing the bug. A lot of hitters that are really narrow like this don't have their hips and their core work the right way, so they actually end up squishing the bug, and that back heel goes backwards first. But if we look over at his heel, right here, with him being so narrow, he rotates his hips so well still, his heel comes straight up, and then after the swing he catches himself, that heel kind of falls backwards. That's fine for you to catch yourself after your swing like that with that heel coming back. But he does such a great job of really using his kinetic chain, stretching it out, and then having his hips and his core work with his barrel working on the right path. So his hips are starting to turn ahead of his hands. A lot of hitters at this point in their swing, their hands are already right here. His hands are still back here, and that helps him generate a lot of power in his swing. So this is a pretty low pitch, so you're seeing, I mean, even how much torso tilt he had, he still was a little bit extended. Can't quite get right in between. We kind of need a frame right in between here. But right at contact point, he's pretty straight with his arms, but he was able to generate so much bat speed. He just was able, when he was able to barrel it up, it still went over the fence. So not ideal contact position. We would like there to be more bend in the elbows to be able to continue a little bit longer through the zone. But he still had so much bat speed and was perfectly on time with this pitch. And his bat was so on plane way back here to get on plane and be able to hit it well. So as he gets closer to contact, his front foot was firming up, and then he ended up bending it after. There's some hitters that you'll see actually keep bend in that front knee. If we look right here, it'll actually keep a little bit more bend in that front knee, recognizing that it's a low pitch. And that could have been why he was a little bit more extended, is because he actually came pretty close to locking out his front knee. And what we'll see with a lot of hitters is on the really low pitches, they'll actually keep more bend in that knee. That kind of helps them get down there a little bit. It's still so important for those hips to rotate, that back foot to become weightless close to contact point. Good extension all the way through the zone. So doing really well this year and in preseason, and expect him to continue to do well the rest of the season.